I'm Andy Dion, and you're watching.
Yes, sir. There we are. All right. Saturday night. Show me your pick. Couple minutes late. Just a couple. Charles Green, Sandra. How you doing, guys? What's up, Sandra?
I don't feel tardy.
Great night to be streaming, everybody.
I don't feel tardy either, man.
No. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Those that are in the chat early, as always, we appreciate that. Always cool and a fun time to hang out with you guys before the show, even if it is in the live chat. I appreciate you being there, so thanks for that. Make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff, and share the content out. Get the news out. Congratulations to my good friend T-Cake on 800 subs.
Oh, thank you.
Very cool, T-Cake.
Right on. Yes, thank you to everyone who subscribed. We've reached 800 in a couple years here. So yeah, thank you for that. Looking to go to 1,000 subs. So check and see if you're subscribed or not, and subscribe. Thank you for that. It's Saturday, my favorite night to stream of the whole week. It's December 3rd, 2022. Charles Green and Sandra alongside. Brendan is at Steel Panther at the Chance in Poughkeepsie, and he'll be checking in with us a little later on, so stay tuned. We got a very, very, very special guest waiting in the green room tonight. Yeah, and it's going to be a fun night. We're talking about Kansas tonight. A lot of cool stories, a lot of Kansas fans in the house, and a lot of Kansas guitar picks to show you later on. And a couple of unboxings along the way too. I got one. I think my man down there has one too.
I got another.
Yeah. Right on.
Yes, sir.
All right. So yeah, it's Saturday night. Hope your week's gone good. Mine's gone good. It's nice to see you guys. It's December 3rd. Happy Saturday. We're going to do 10-shot rock and roll trivia a little later on. We got some cool questions in store for you. We have some special trivia later, and we'll get into that. I'm not going to say a whole lot about that now, but we'll get into that. But so Sandra cracks her chat open early, but I do not, because I want to be surprised each week, as you know. So
I haven't either.
Let's crack the chat open and see who's here.
As you all know.
All right, there they are. All right, right on. So I see Ryan Hall.
Yeah.
And Christopher Live Sour.
Hey, Christopher. Good to see you guys.
Andy Carson.
Hey.
Andy. Right there, guy.
And we have unboxings from Andy
we do.
Carson.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Yeah. Ooh, that's in focus.
That was in focus.
Finally.
There's the other side.
That's not.
Nope. Come on.
It's trying.
It's
A little
trying.
back more. Back a little more. Now forward. Ah, never mind.
How
All
stubborn.
right. All right. So I'm seeing
Oh,
Hip
sure,
Metal
focus on the
Works
back.
Charles, and I'm seeing Zach Thong, and I'm seeing
Hip.
Holly Lewis.
Hi,
Right
Zach.
on.
Zach,
I
Holly.
know Holly's a big Kansas fan.
I've heard that Holly is like as big a Kansas fan as they actually come. This is what I hear.
So have I said Christopher Live Sour already,
Yeah.
Charles?
You have, but
I have.
Christopher's awesome. You can always say him twice, man. There's enough
All
of him
right.
to go around, bro.
And Dave Z, right on.
Dave,
Hey,
it's good to see you, brother. Right on,
All right.
man.
Let's see. Keith Campbell in the house. Have I
Keith,
said
right
Keith
on, brother.
too? Or, that's the first time. Right on, Keith. Good to see you, dude.
Right on, Keith.
Ed in the house. What's up,
Good to
Ed?
see you, Ed. Right on, brother.
Right on, dude. Good to see you, man. All right. Let's keep scrolling. Guitar Man 45. Hip
Guitar
Metal
Man, right
Works.
on,
I've
bro.
said Hip Metal Works.
Good to see you. Good to see
Hey,
all you
Jeff.
guys.
Hey.
Jeff, what's going on, brother?
Jeff, what's up, dude? All right, I'm going to scroll back down at this point. If you're just jumping in, this is Show Me Your Pick, Kansas. Say hi in the chat for us. It's nice to see you. It's Saturday night. Saturday night.
Good to see all you guys tonight, man.
All right. There we are. All right. So, Charles, this is a special occasion, bro.
Yes, it is.
It is. We have, let's go ahead and bring him in. We've got the guy who, let's see if I got a picture here I want to show. No, I don't. But you know who this guy is. This guy has made our guitar picks here at Show Me Your Pick and Halenville Live. He's made guitar picks for Kiss, for Styx, for everybody. Nugent.
Are we lighting off firecrackers? What was that?
That was computer software.
It sounded like somebody's lighting up a crack. I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be good.
No, I'm remedying that right now. Sorry about that. You guys.
No, it's
you're
okay.
good.
Our budget doesn't allow for pyrotechnics.
I hear you. I hear you.
All right. So, we had him on. We had Greg on about a year ago, about November of last year.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a long time coming. It's always good to catch up with him. Let's bring him in. Greg Collins from Legend Picks.
Right
There
on,
he
Greg.
is.
Hey, Greg.
Good to see
Hey
you,
everyone, how
Greg.
are you?
All right.
All
Good to
right,
see you,
Greg.
Greg.
Oh, right back at you. Yep. Good to see all of you.
Good to see you, sir. What's new with you, man?
Well, it's all good. It's all guitar picks all the time, especially this time of year with Christmas orders and in my usual business. So it's if I wasn't talking to you tonight online here, I'd be across the hallway at my guitar pick shop working on picks. So which I'll probably go there when I finish this and crank out some orders. So no, it's all good. It's been a good year since we last spoke. I've missed you all since we spoke last November. I apologize for not joining in on your weekly chats, but it's an honor to be back here again. I appreciate the invitation back here to talk to all you good folks yet once again. So thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Greg. We love your picks, man. I hear nothing but great things about these lovely picks you've made.
And there's nothing wrong with staying busy. Dude.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong.
Yep. Keeps me out of trouble. Yep.
Well, Greg, the last time you were on, I was picking your head about like pick composition and things that go into picks to make them last longer, maybe not break down as fast. Anything new? Any new technology that's on the horizon that you can't talk about, but you can at least give us some insight into? Or
No, it's not that I'm aware of. No, you know, my specialty is the old classic celluloid. Stuff that was used back in, you know, way back in the early days with Gnfnr when they made Fender and Gibson picks. I play around once in a while with some nylon or some Delrin or Delrix they call it, and now I've kind of got into the matte version of celluloid, which is it gives it extra grip, and it sometimes wears a little longer. But other than that, it's, you know, I'm stuck in my old mode of the cellulose acetate material.
I just know that you're the guy who's on the cutting edge of all this stuff. So I just wondered if you had, you know, anything new you wanted to share. That's,
you know, I always try new things myself. But I'm kind of like my music. I'm kind of stuck in the 70s, you know. So I've used the equivalent of a Fender medium since I was 4 years old. I'm 61 now, so I've been at that Fender medium, that .72 millimeter, for a long time.
I have too.
Once in a while, I'll grab a thin, or I'll pick up a misprint heavy, and I'll use that. But I always kind of go back to the old classic polished celluloid medium. That's my go-to pick.
That's awesome. When you were here last time, I believe you were talking about, if it's okay if I recap, talking about putting gold print on a black guitar pick or on a guitar pick in general. Is it still impossible to keep that stuff on there,
or
any? You know, it's
colored.
Not. But the challenge with doing imprinting on any dark pick, especially a black pick, is. And we talked last time about the technology of UV and the UV ink and the UV light that's used a lot now. In my old process, in the bad old days of doing pad printing, I could do white print on anything. I couldn't do full color or multicolor picks, but now the UV process has really opened that up to quite a, you know, it's just wide open now, as some of the picks you were showing earlier just a couple minutes ago. You can really get pretty fancy with full color on dark colored picks. The problem though is, and the challenge is, you have to lay down a layer of white ink underneath that in order for them to imprint the color on top of that, in order for it to pop. Because if you just lay down some red ink on a black pick, using the UV process, it just doesn't show very well. It did under the old pad printing and hot stamping methods.
What is your Nightmare's End? What is the color on your black pick? What is that? What is it? Black. But the Nightmare's End is what?
Oh, it's a hologram.
Hologram. Do you do stuff like that?
Was that an ink pick, or was that like they used to do that with hot stamping? They could do kind of a hologram multicolor foil look with the hot stamping methods. But the challenge I've got is or a lot of the UV processes anymore it's just, you got a layer level of a layer of white ink down, and then have that aligned properly with the colored ink, and it's just an extra challenge. It can be done, but it is very challenging. And white ink itself in the UV process, the components of white ink, it's just very manually intensive. You got to keep fleshing it out and cleaning it out, and it's just an extra challenge for white. So
does having to lay down that layer of white help to adhese the print that you're going to put over it? Does it benefit in that any way? Is it kind of like primering a paint wall before you put the coat of paint on it? Or is it simply to raise it up on that micro level so that it pops?
Did I lose you guys?
No, No,
No.
no.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear-
Okay.
Can you hear us, Greg?
Yeah,
Can you hear me
yeah.
now?
Yeah, I can. We kind of cut out for a second there, and that's probably on my side, and I apologize for that.
Oh, you're good. You're good, bud.
It doesn't. What it does is it kind of adds an extra layer to it. Kind of builds for better grip.
Okay.
It's kind of a little indentation there, so it does help in that regard. So I keep struggling, and I keep working at the full color on dark picks, but it's sometimes I have success and sometimes I don't, but I keep working at it. So.
Oh my goodness, man.
Greg has the when you're making these picks, do you find that people are asking for more of the grip stuff on the picks than in the past, the max grips and stuff like this?
Yes. And that comes in handy if you're even when I was playing in the bars in my days, anything you can get on there to give a little extra grip when you're drinking a beer or drinking a whiskey or something like that can help out. I'll talk about that too when we get into the Kansas stuff, especially with Rich and what he uses now, because everyone's looking for an extra grip. And there are a lot of companies, or there are some companies out there that have their novelty where they'll put pick grips on there, or they sell things that they can put on picks that will. Yeah, that's a benefit again of the new UV process, is that you can get that beveled feel to it and give that extra little grip on there for you.
That's excellent. That is excellent, man. I can remember. Is it okay for us to talk a little bit about Kansas? Do you guys want to go into that at all? Or
Yeah.
am I jumping the gun too quick?
Yeah. Let's go.
Now, Greg, on my screen right now, Greg's frozen.
Yeah, mine too.
and yours too?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you still hear us, Greg?
Yep, I'm good.
Excellent.
Yeah, your video looks froze, Greg, but we can still hear your audio in real time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here. Maybe if you hit the refresh button once.
Very cool. I'll give him a minute before I ask a question, Tony.
Yeah, he should be fine if he hits the refresh and come back.
He'll be right back. Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
New computers, working out the kinks and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll
hey, we can fuck out for a minute. Oh, man.
No, here he
I
is.
got a couple of questions for Greg, as I want to make sure.
Okay.
There he is.
Is that better?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Oh,
can you hear us good?
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep. Sorry about that.
Greg, tell us about. Okay, let me share my second concert that I ever saw was Kansas. They played with Thin Lizzy in LA in '78, I believe it was, at the Forum. Now, my brother saw them the year before. I'm not sure what venue, but it was in LA. It was an LA venue, and I think he saw them maybe with Cheap Trick, I think is who it actually was that he saw him with. And when it came time to come around to see him, he said, man, you've got to go see these guys. You have got to go see these guys. And I believe I was a junior in high school in '78. I wasn't ready for what I saw, man. They were cutting edge at the time. Symphonic rock is what we called it in my neighborhood. And the impression that I got was huge. I've always been into the Hammond B3 organ. I've been into Deep Purple. Deep Purple was my thing. My brother exposed me to it in the early '70s. And it was one of the best concert experiences I had as a child, because I also, one of my favorite bands in the other day was Thin Lizzy as well. And so getting to see both of them, it was iconic. Getting to experience it with my brother, excellent. It sort of set the foundation for my concert experiences as a young man. And I remember something about it. Was it your first concert was Kansas, Greg? Was that true?
Yeah, it was my second concert.
Second concert as well. We have that in common,
my second
dude.
concert.
Very cool.
Going back to our
Right on.
discussion last year, my very first concert was Styx in January of '77.
There you
And
go.
ARS opened up for them, and that was at the RKO in Davenport, Iowa. So January of '77,
Cool.
I had my first intro to what a concert experience was.
Mhm.
February 24th, 1977, I saw Kansas. And
And
at
how
that
old
point-
were you? How old were you then?
well,
Greg?
I was a sophomore in high school. I was 15 years old.
Wow, see, that's
So-
crazy. I was a
So
junior.
yeah, so that
Crazy.
got in my blood early on.
Wow, okay.
And at that point in time, Leftover Chair had come out about 6 months before that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and Carrie Ann Woodward's Son was all over the AM radios. It was just everywhere. And I was a
Yes.
guitar player back then. I think I had started teaching at that point. I was all about guitar work, and I heard Carrie Ann Woodward's Son on the radio all the time. And so yeah, we trekked over to Davenport, Iowa, and we watched Kansas do their thing. And I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. And I think back to that now and how lucky I was, you were with your brother and anyone who saw Kansas or any of those shows back in the day, Kansas, Thin Lizzy, all those bands in their prime, or actually kind of early on in their prime. They were still hungry, and they were out there, and they were trying to earn their name out there. So that was a fantastic concert. Let me kind of tell you about the lead into that concert. Sammy Hagar opened for them. Sammy Hagar. I don't know how long after that he had been gone from Montrose, but he was out doing the solo stuff.
Okay.
And he was out trying to work. He was trying to work the crowd. He was trying to earn the crowd over.
Yeah.
And at one point he sat on the front of the stage, real close to the crowd, and he was kind of playing his guitar like a steel guitar, trying to get intimate with the crowd. And I mean, you won't believe this, but he was booed off the stage.
Get out of here.
Booed off the stage.
You've seen Sammy Hagar get booed off a stage, Greg?
Sammy Hagar got booed off the stage. I mean, I think of that now. I'm like, how can that happen? But
wow, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But the environment was, folks were there to see Kansas, and they didn't care. You could have had maybe Led Zeppelin, but you could have had any band opening that show, and it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, folks were there to see Kansas, to hear Carrie Ann Wayward's Son, and to see all this, this fantastic musicianship. But I mean, I'm still blown away by the fact that here we are, 100 years later, Sammy Hagar booed off the stage. And they're an interesting anecdote there too. And we can talk a lot about Kansas, but to kind of tie the Sammy Hagar to Kansas thing a little closer. 5 years ago, I was sitting just at a table with Rich Williams and a buddy of mine who I had taken to the show with me. And we were saying, hey, Rich, we saw you here back in 1977 with Sammy Hagar. And we told him, Sammy got booed off the stage and what we all thought about that. And I'm not talking out of school here, but he told us, he said, look, they had considered bringing Sammy on as a singer at one point, when they'd gone through their series of singers, but they actually seriously considered bringing Sammy on.
I just want to say this, that the vocals, the entire vocal package that Kansas delivered is not only is it unique to the band, but it is just as stellar and excellent as vocals get.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that did not occur.
Well, yes, I agree.
I'm really glad that did not occur. I can't even imagine. And Sammy was great. I loved Sammy back in the early days. When he was the Red Rocker so you saw this is before Can't Drive 55. We're talking about just after Montrose. He probably didn't have that many discernible hits not as much of a catalog. He was probably still playing Bad Motor Scooter. and
Probably Rock Candy and all that stuff.
and they still boot him off stage.
They boot him off the stage. It's unthinkable.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But that just goes to show you Kansas fans. I remember now. I saw Kansas in with Thin Lizzy, but then they did a show at the Forum again. Seems to me I remember it being around Christmas time, and like a Christmas show. Yeah, it was Christmas time, and it was with REO Speedwagon, and I want to say like 38 Special. Yeah, 38 Special and REO Speedwagon.
Yeah,
and it was a super special show. But Kansas, it's like when you go to see Rush. Rush takes over, and it's all about them, no matter who opens for them. It was kind of the same thing. I had really started noticing crowds at that time. I started noticing the vibe of the venues at the time. The Forum was a great place to see shows in those days. I believe that was the first time I had seen REO. First time I'd seen 38 Special. The band Kansas was a tremendous gateway to first-time bands for me who opened up for them when they were headliners. They had that window of the 70s. They really dominated the 70s, Greg. Yeah. And then their music was so iconic going into the 80s that you heard that everything. I mean, they covered it. I remember I went to Griffith Park Observatory in LA, and they had this thing called Laserium, and they would do things like Pink Floyd, or they do Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And then they did this other one. It was a symphonic rock type thing, and they did a mix of Boston and Kansas, if I recall correctly. Yeah. And all in laser lights on the ceiling. It was spectacular. But that's the kind of thing that they morphed into in the 80s. It was really iconic. It was iconic.
It blew us away. I mean, that was back in the days where, I mean, it was just the music was fantastic. It was, they're a musician's band. Anyone can appreciate their stuff, but if you're a musician, maybe especially in that, not to knock any fan of Kansas, but just to follow their music. And that was when Steve Walsh was doing his handstands on the keyboards, and it was just over the top.
Look, I just want to put it out that that guy was a character. They did a show. I didn't see the show, but I saw a video of it. Oh, I've seen it. It's been a couple of years since I saw it, but they actually did a show around, I want to say it's maybe in the must have been the early 80s, maybe 83.
Okay, Greg, you're froze. You've been froze for a few minutes. You need to hit refresh again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, folks.
Oh, you're okay, Greg. It's all good, brother.
Guys, here's what. There you are, Greg. Oh, he's gone. What we're going to do, Charles, I've got Brendan in the green room. He's
awesome.
at Steel Panther. There's Greg.
Okay.
Hey, you got your video back. Right
Greg's
on.
back. Bring Brendan in. We'll check out
So
for a few
we're
minutes.
going to check in with Brendan real quick at the Chance in
That was driving me
Poughkeepsie
crazy.
with Steel Panther. Let's see what he's up to.
Fucking heavy metal capitals of this part of the state. And because of that,
Brendan!
the way that you guys react as a collective is going to have profound effects on other heavy metal audiences as far away as Rochester. Okay?
Oh, Rochester.
So
That's a rough place.
you guys have a lot of fucking weight on your shoulder. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you one more chance. We're gonna end that song one more fucking time. This time, you're gonna fucking put both fucking hands in the air. You're in the front fucking row. Okay? And this fucking hot little girl right here, she's gonna turn around and show her fucking titties to everybody in the balcony. Okay? That's what heavy metal's all about. And this beautiful girl right here, she's gonna suck that guy's cock. Are you guys ready?
Hey now.
lost an extension.
Are you okay? You better find it. You know how much those extensions cost.
That was great.
Oh, God, it was so much better. Don't you guys feel good now? How many people love heavy fucking metal music, dude? You guys came to the right fucking place, dude, because Steel Panther just got voted one of the top, shut up, bitch, I'm talking right now. You just got voted one of the top 75 heavy metal bands to visit Poughkeepsie this week. So we're very, very excited about that. And right now, I want to introduce you to one of the greatest heavy metal lead singers in the world.
Thank you.
Right now, I want to introduce you to a fucking heavy metal legend. Okay, right now, I want to introduce you to an icon of the genre, a guy who has influenced an entire generation of kids to drop out of school just like you and fuck hookers every day. Thank you. Unfortunately, Fitzneal's not here tonight, so I'm going to introduce you to the guy that I hired back in 1981 when he was only 38 years old.
Hey.
Okay.
Last night you got it right. Tonight you fucked it up.
When he was only 39 years old.
No, I was 37 and a half.
He was
bitch.
37 and a half years old. And ladies and gentlemen, this guy right here, still today, almost 43 years later, still works for only $100 a week, even with inflation. Make some fucking noise for Michael Stone!
God, this is so great. We're finally back in Poughkeepsie. It's been, what, like 3 fucking years or some shit like that? Oh, man, I love coming to play here, man. This town is fucking ready for some fucking getting high, fucking some pussy, and having a heavy metal time. Am I right? Now, listen, I got a question for you. How many people have seen us here before? Raise your fucking hands. Welcome back, everybody. And Santa came back. I love you, bro. And how many people are seeing us for your very first time? Raise your tits. All right. Now, how many people are never going to see us again after seeing the first 2 songs?
All right, suck my dick.
Fuck you.
Lick my balls.
I hope Santa's reindeer poops on you.
Ha
Your mom sucks amazing dick.
Make some noise for Santa. He looks a little skinny. It's Crack Santa.
Hey, Satchel, he brought us a bunch of his ho-ho-hos.
Fuck yeah, you did. I'm gonna let her go through my sack later.
Yeah, I bet. She'll be there for a long time searching around for those little marbles.
Shut up, asshole.
Anyways, listen, all joking aside, this fucking guy on the left of me owes me like $300 for what I'm about to say. I want you to put your fucking hands together for one of the best guitar players in the fucking heavy metal industry today, and you guys fucking know it. This guy has fucked more bitches than any fucking... He's fucked more girls than Eddie Van Halen did.
If you add it up by weight, that's true.
He likes them fat ones. Make some noise for Satchel on the guitar.
It's so fucking awesome to be back in Poughkeepsie. It's really a fucking second home to me. I'm not trying to fucking ingratiate myself with you. I know that's a big word for some heavy metal people, but listen, my fucking grandma lives right here in Poughkeepsie. I've been coming here for fucking years. Okay? It's like a second home. My whole family has been getting together every Christmas, and my fucking grandma would cook crystal meth for the whole fucking family. And I don't even really remember what she looks like, but I love the fucking crack here. It's amazing.
All right, so Brendan is at Steel Panther in Poughkeepsie.
And he's put on a lot of weight.
Yeah, right on.
I think it's safe to say that there is not a single curse word that I'll use the rest of the night that'll be a problem.
We'll check in with Brendan after a while. Yeah, he's having a great time, obviously.
Zach Thong is in the house. Quentin James is in the house. Boomster
John
Black is in the
DeShane,
house. Right
Dave
on,
Z.
John. Good to
Right
see
on.
you guys. Let me see. There was and Janice Lala. It's good to see you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. So where were we, Greg?
Well, I was kind of going through the impression that Kansas left on me when I saw them in '77, and then I saw them again in every couple of years they'd come through the Midwest. I mean, they're not that far of a home base for me down in they were in Kansas at that point in time. So my connection with those guys really didn't get started until they went out and toured with Styx when Styx went on the road in '96. They started opening for Styx on the Return to Paradise Theater tour. So I mean, I got to meet some of their crew, and I always saw the band, and Rich and I finally hooked up and started talking guitar picks in the late '90s. I think it was '99. So I'm kind of a late entrance into the Kansas inner circle, I guess. But go ahead, Charles.
Greg, how did you meet Rich? And I mean, just can you tell the circumstances of how the two of you met? And was he the guy that you first met in Kansas, or who introduced you?
He was. Somehow we just through his crew and just crossing paths a lot during, I'd always go see Styx and take pics to them whenever they were close by those when they kind of regrouped. And we just got talking pics one day, and he said to me, Greg, look, Dunlop doesn't give a hoot about me. He used a different phrase, but he was getting pics from Dunlop at that point in time, and they just weren't taking care of him. I'm like, well, Rich, I'll take good care of you.
Greg, let me ask you, when you say they weren't taking care of him, how many, because Kansas was freaking huge, dude.
Yeah.
And he needed a lot of picks if he was giving them out. So not to mention using them. Two questions. Did he use the picks that you made for him on stage as well, or were they strictly for novelty? And how many picks would you say he's in his career, or in a year? How many would he need for a tour, a big tour? How many picks would he need?
He didn't go through a lot. He's not one to throw them out a lot, and he's kind of, I guess, stingy with them. Not in a bad way, but he's just not like
Right. Not
Rick
like
Nielsen.
Rick Nielsen.
Right, Rick Nielsen, sure. And I started doing some. Well, I guess back to the Dunlop issue. He just felt like they just didn't give a hoot about him. He just wasn't one of their, recognizable names, and he was probably paying the same price that we would all pay for a pick from Dunlop, and he just wasn't happy. And he basically said they don't give a shit about me, and so I said, well, Rich, I mean, look, you're one of my guitar heroes. I'll take good care of you. So we did some early picks for him, and he like luckily most customers, he loved them, and he used them at that point in time. He's not so much using them now, and I'll kind of get into that in a little bit as to the reason why. But I did some thins for his acoustic work. I did some mediums and heavies for his his electric work, and we've had a great thing. And Rich has become a pretty good friend over the years. He is one of the guys where if they're coming through town or anywhere close by, or he needs picks, he'll just call me or send me a note. Whereas some of my artists, they go through their guitar techs or they go through their management, and some of them I deal with directly. But Rich, if he needs picks, he'll call me, or if I'm going to see him at a show, he'll meet me outside the show and give me a laminate, and we'll shoot. We'll chat for a little bit, and he's really become a pretty good friend, and he is just an exceptionally nice guy and exceptionally modest for what he does. So we've had a good thing go over the years. I've done a lot of picks for him. I did some picks for Billy Greer, and then they're Ragsdale, their violinist, guitarist over the years too. So those guys have been kind of hit and miss, but Rich has been my main contact with Kansas, and I'm just proud to call him a friend, and just having gotten to know him and how he is. So I saw them. They came through town last month, and I went down and saw him and had a chance to talk with Rich a little bit.
Well,
And I'll tell you the thing about. Oh, go ahead, Charles. Go ahead.
well, I was just going to ask you: are they? When you just saw them, did you happen to see them with Styx by any chance? Was that a Styx Kansas reunion kind of a thing?
No, Styx just finished their tour in September with REO and Loverboy.
Yeah.
So this was just a strictly Kansas show, no opening act.
I understand.
They just came out and did their thing and blew away the crowd as they always do. But they're as powerful as ever. You know, it's not the original guys. And actually, for this show, it was Phil Ehart was not there either.
The drummer,
right? He hurt his hand. He's not retired, but he hurt his hand somehow. So he had his drum tech filling in for him that night.
Oh.
You know, I got to say this about Kansas. The thing about they were not metal. They were put into the hard rock genre because they were embraced by that group of guys, but
right.
They really crossed into sort of a fusion. They were very jazz oriented, very, very jazz oriented. And it really started to show, okay. When Kansas first came out, they looked, their appearance, their stage appearance, they didn't try to glam it up. They didn't try to change who they were. They looked like a bunch of country boys from Kansas. Yep. Who really, really accomplished musicians. They wrote the music was their message. They didn't try to portray themselves as something, because the music is so much deeper than when you take a picture of those, I call them country boys. That's what I call them. They look to me like country boys who could play in a big barn with Johnny Winter on a weekend.
Yep.
But their music was jazz fusion. It was very progressive, what I would call progressive. It skirted hard rock because it was hard and heavy. Well, you know, with songs like "Carry On My Wayward Son," that's the reason they broke into the rock scene. But they're so much more than that. That band is so much more than just a rock band. Yeah. I saw them, I think it was 87. It was the last time I ever saw them. And they had sort of, I think it was a Universal Amphitheater. Yeah, Universal Amphitheater, I believe, is the last place, because I remember, I remember the girl I was with. That's how you remember concerts, Greg. It was the girl you were with.
Yes, yeah.
Or the friends you were with. And yeah. See, what I noticed about them is as they aged and they progressed, by the end of the 80s, their huge heyday from the 70s had slightly diminished as far as the amount of touring they were doing and sort of production of new music at that time. But the guys, as they got older, they sort of cleaned up. And the band has morphed from a bunch of country boys who could play really good music into very distinguished looking guys. They've sort of morphed into their old age really gracefully, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're not only are they incredibly clean cut, and you say you just saw these guys and they literally bring it like they used to. When I hear you do that, Greg, I gotta tell you, we just saw Styx, Loverboy, and REO Speedwagon.
REO, yep.
I hadn't seen them for a very long period of time, and so I was there expecting to, you know, I was gonna compare them right off the bat. I wasn't expecting it to be this. I was definitely expecting less. I'm damned if it wasn't just as what I remembered, quite literally. So I'm quite anxious to see Kansas again. Especially if they're bringing it like you say they are.
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And, you know, back to your point about the country boy look. Yeah, I mean, back in the 70s, Rich Williams would wear overalls on stage.
Yes.
They didn't care what they looked like.
Yes,
you know, Dave Hope would have, you know, he looked like he just came off of the you know, work in the fields.
Yes.
But their music back then it was just so darn powerful.
Yeah.
And it was so different, I guess. And you're right. The way to phrase that is it was kind of a fusion thing. You know, the different timings on the songs, and it's almost I'll tell you what. Here's what it was. I'm an old man, and I'm kind of emotional in that, but maybe the older I get, the more emotional I get. But both at that show last month with Kansas and with Styx when I saw them in September, I sat there and watched these guys do their thing, and I'll admit I had tears in my eyes during both those concerts for a lot of reasons. First off, it's because of the memories. You know, I mean, my early shows. And then all the times that I've seen them, and so what their music has meant to me over the years, and the memories it invokes, and all this, and the fact that they're still out there doing their thing, and they're still doing it very, very well. I mean, it just hit me like it was just an emotional. I was overcome, and I didn't break down into all getting all teary eyed, but I sat there and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, these guys are still at it. They're playing the songs. I know every nuance of their songs, both Styx and Kansas. I know what to expect. I know which band member is going to do this at that time.
Yeah.
And they hit their mark every time. It was just very, very powerful. And I'll tell you, and another thing about the show, and again, it's it's kind of a trade-off. You know, bands, they lose members, but they try to, I guess, carry on. Without Phil there, without Phil there, at some point in time, if they lose, probably like Styx, if Styx loses one of their members now, if James Young, for instance, retires, or if Phil Ehart were to retire, or Rich were to retire officially,
Tommy Shaw,
if Tommy Shaw leaves. At some point they've got to say, look, it's not fair anymore to go out and tour under that name. But but in this case here, you've got Rich and you've got Phil. You've got the foundation of the band. And I will say this: I'm not a drummer, but the guy who filled in for Phil was phenomenal, and he had the same nuances on what he hit, and he was right on target.
You say he was his drum tech? He was his tech?
It was his drum tech, yes. Yeah,
okay.
So he's heard that music and watched Phil do these songs for, X number of years. But if you would not have known it wasn't Phil, if you had not seen him, and he looked like Phil's son. I thought it was Phil's son at first, but he had wristbands on like Phil sometimes wears. But he was right on, and it was just very powerful. So when they introduced the band for Kansas, and they went around to the members and talked about so and so. When they got to Rich Williams and they introduced Rich as the original and founding member, the crowd went nuts. They gave him a standing ovation, and they went nuts. And I'll tell you, that was also pretty powerful too, because I mean, he's not a very emotional guy on stage, but he cracked a smile, and I felt so good for him, because the crowd, they gave props to all the players and all the members, but when it came to
Gnfnr's rock concert, they did their first TV appearance was in, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, it had to be mid 70s, had to be like 75, because I wasn't even in high school. I remember I used to stay up late and watch Don Kirshner and get deep shit for it. Yeah. And yeah, 75 Don Kirshner. It's weird you're talking about this. I'm remembering things about them. Let me ask you a question. What is your favorite Kansas song, Greg? Do you have a favorite?
Probably Miracles Out of Nowhere off Leftover Here.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. And again, this goes back to probably, and what music means to us all. It's memories of my youth, and one of my good friends back in those heydays would crank that song, and he's no longer with us. Yeah. But he would crank that song, and we would blow my speakers, and we have to reset them, and we went through all that. We were drinking a lot of beer and just a bunch of foolishness. But Miracles Out of the Nowhere, it just, I mean, it hits me where it counts. You know, when that song comes on, or they play that song and they get to the end of it, and there's that little upbeat section before they close out. I mean, I just sit there and I'm just in awe to watch them do that or to hear that on the radio.
The thing I love the most is they do that. Rich does this thing where he will articulate the same notes and play them in unison with the violin. They're classic for that. That's one of the things that Kansas did really uniquely, not to mention the incorporation of violin. My favorite Kansas song is Icarus 2, and then it goes into Icarus Born on, I think it's Born on Wings of Steel, I believe is the name of the song. Born on Wings. Yeah. Did you hear all that, Greg?
You kind of cut up about 5 seconds, and I apologize to all of you and the folks in the chat. That's on me, this problem. So I apologize. I know it gets a little tough to follow. So, but go ahead again, Charles.
Oh, well, my favorite is a really old school song. It's called Icarus 2, and then it goes into Icarus. It's Born on Wings of Steel, I think is Born on Wings of Steel. There's a part in there where Rich and the violin player kind of do a little, the solo is kind of a duel between the two of them. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's my favorite. I like that a little better than I do the heavy rock part of Carry On My Wayward Son, which, I
heard that song. I heard that song today, as a matter of fact. So
really,
yeah, it's what they do. I don't know how they can even create that. That's part of what blows me away is how do they sit in a studio? And I know Kerry Livgren was he's been called a genius for how he developed those songs and kind of formulated them. But to come up with those little riffs and those little hooks here and there throughout those songs, and the speeding up and the slowing down and just how they build those songs, it's really special. It is very special.
Wow.
We've put a poll in the community section up here of this channel this afternoon of what's your favorite Kansas song. So cast your vote up there before we close that out. And there's a few choices for you. But if yours isn't listed in the 5 that are there, put your favorite in the comments. Yeah, and we'll post that and we'll share that. So, yeah, thanks for voting there. That sound is our sound that we are preparing for trivia for tonight. We have a very special
trivia with a
round of trivia. We're going to do our regular 10-shot rock and roll trivia now. But after we do this, we have a special trivia question and a special prize that we'll get into after trivia. Make sure you stay right here. If you need something to drink, go get it now. We're going to get into regular trivia. We're going to have an extra trivia question written by Greg himself, and it's a very good question, and it's going to have a very special prize that goes with it. But for our regular 10-shot rock and roll trivia, we're going to offer up a Eric Clapton 2008.
Dude, that's awesome.
For you right there.
Nice.
And got some cool questions in store for you. Yeah, so you ready to play, everyone? All right, so now, if you are the winner tonight, and it's going to be a tight game, I can already tell, Charles. Yeah, it's going to be a tight game. But if you're the winner, there's an email address down below. Trivia winners email. Email me your name and address. I'll mail you out that Eric Clapton pick out Monday morning, Lunas. Yep.
By the way, Winnie, Lou, and Mary are in the chat. I just want to tell them I love them.
Hey,
Yeah.
We all
Lou.
love you. We
Love you, ladies. Big hugs.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's find it, Sandra. Let's
Number one.
see what we got. All right.
Good luck, chat.
Good luck,
Good
you
luck,
guys.
guys. We're gonna get into it. This is 10-shot rock and roll trivia.
Charles is keeping score. I'll be the judge.
Yeah.
If you're not ready, Charles, I do have pen and paper ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
So
Okay.
we are
Looks like
gonna
I'm not
go right
I'm ready.
into these.
Love
And
you.
so stay, as I said, stay around, because when we're finished with this round of 10, we have another question written by Greg and a very special prize for that. So, yes. All right. Number one, 10-shot rock and roll trivia, December 3rd, 2022. Number one, here we go. Are you ready? Get ready to type. Number one. This Kansas song was the second most played track on U.S. classic rock radio in 1995 and was number one in 1997. Name that tune.
Come on.
We lost Charles. He'll be back.
Holly Lewis.
You're going to have to be the judge. There you go, Holly. Right on. Holly is on the board.
Holly Lewis with one.
All right, here's Charles again.
I have no idea what happened. Holly Lewis got the question correct.
Yes, she did.
Right on, Holly.
Good job.
All right. So Holly is on the board with one. Let's go to question number 2. All right, here we are. Complete the next line to this song. Well, I don't know what I've been told. You never slow down. You never grow old. I'm tired of screwing up. Tired of going down. Tired of myself.
Something, 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 something. Andy Carson.
Andy
Carson. Right there.
Right on, Andy. There you go.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Good job, Andy. Right.
That's a
Keith was
Tom
right
Petty
behind
song.
him, and Sawa was right behind him.
Right on.
And then Holly's with what they said. So
I try to say these in a manner that doesn't give the answer away. So I'm trying to say them kind of straight-laced, you know. All right. Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3. Here we go. Name the U.S. city that the members of Kansas are from.
Ooh. Come on, guys.
Bring it. Come on. Come on.
Mentioned it earlier.
Quickly.
Come on. I think we did. There's Ed. Ed has it. Right there. Okay.
All right, we got a
Topeka,
three-way
Kansas.
tie, guys.
That's right.
Three-way tie between Holly, Andy, and Ed.
Yep.
Coolness. All right, let's go to number 4. Here we go. Number 4, 10-shot rock and roll trivia. ID this song and artist in that order. Song and artist. I come home in the morning light. My mother says, when you gonna live your life right? Oh, mama dear, we're not the fortunate ones.
I can hear it in my head, so I'm sorry. Love the video on MTV.
Come on, kids.
Yep. I think it's Andy Carson.
Andy.
You asked for artist and song, correct?
Song and artist.
There we go.
Song and artist. Song first and then artist.
Oh. Well.
Song and artist. Find it.
Oh, Keith Campbell. Sorry.
There it is. Right on.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Four-way tie.
A bunch of them were all over it. Yep. So ID this song and artist. So there you go.
Order matters.
Yeah, it does. So right on. But they got it though. So yeah.
They did.
And again, I tried to say it in a manner that didn't give it away. But yeah. All right. What's the score, Sandra?
We've got a four-way tie between Holly, Andy, Ed, and Keith. We're on question number 5, you guys.
Here we go. Cinco.
Stop guessing.
This band made its live debut opening for Kiss at Pacific Coliseum, Vancouver, British Columbia, 1979. Name the band. Come on.
That's a great question.
Nope. Oh, Gretsch Zeppelin.
Gretsch did it. Right on.
Where is it? Right there.
Right on, dude. There you go. Lover boy. You got it.
All right. This is getting interesting. 5-way tie, Holly, Andy, Ed, Keith, and Gretsch.
I like
Good to see you, Gretsch.
Coolness. Number 6. All right. Get ready. All right. Number 6. Let's take that down. All right. Number 6. Here we go. Tesla's debut album is named what? Spell it correctly.
What a flippin' album.
Oops. Close. Oh, Keith Campbell. He came back with the correct spelling.
That album.
2 for Keith. All right.
That's all
Nice.
right. So
Keith
Keith's
Campbell's
got
in the lead
2
with
all of a
2
sudden.
now. Holly, Andy, Ed, and Gretsch all have 1. We're starting question 7.
Holly, Andy, Greg, and who else? There's one more.
Gretsch.
Holly, Andy, Greg, Gretsch, Zeppelin, and Keith has 2.
And we're on number 7. This could get real interesting real quick.
All right. Number 7. Here we go. You ready? What was Keith Moon's nickname when he was alive?
That's another good question.
That is a good question. Drunk? Nope. Keith Campbell.
All right.
Keith Campbell.
Moon the Loon. That's it. He did it. All right, kids. You let Keith get ahead of you.
All right, guys.
It's still anyone's game now. Still anyone's game. We got 8, 9, and 10. 3 left. Keith has gone out to a 3 to 1, 1, 1, 1 lead.
Yep.
All right. Going to number 8.
Here we go.
El Ocho. Number 8. Type the next line to this song. An empty hand reaching out for someone. An empty heart takes so little to fill. It's so much easier.
Finish that line.
Ed, with 2 push instead of pull.
To push instead of pull.
Nice,
Sammy
Ed.
Hagar.
We're shifting
Give
gears.
to live. Yep,
Uh-oh.
yep. Right.
Okay,
on.
so Ed has 2, Keith has 3,
Shifting
Holly,
gears.
Andy, and Rich all have 1.
Getting ready for that lean takeover.
9.
Come on, man.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go take that down.
I am. Hang on.
Going to number 9. All right, here we go now. Number 9 is getting close. Still anyone's game. Number 9. These 3 famous brothers are from Jacksonville, Florida. What's their last name?
Which chat's faster? Ooh. Keith Campbell.
Keith Van
Solid
Zandt.
pride. Solid pride, but got the spelling messed up.
Johnny, Donnie, and Ronnie. Yeah. All
So
right.
Keith has 4. Right, Charles?
Keith has 4. Holly, Andy, Ed, and Gretch. I'm sorry, Ed has 2, and
Yep.
Holly, Andy, and Gretch have 1.
So Keith is our winner
Yep.
for tonight. But we're going to continue.
Well played.
Well,
Keith.
no. So somebody can tie Keith still.
No.
Is that right?
No.
No,
We have-
Keith's got 4. This is
Ed has
for
2.
the last
so he could
question.
do-
Okay, so there's just one question. Keith, I'm sending you a black Eric Clapton, my brother. You are the winner. You are the man. Let's continue here with our question. So Keith is the winner by default. Let's see
Yeah.
here. So where were we?
Question.
We did number 9. We did number 9,
We
and
did
we're
number
going to
9.
go to number 10.
The
But
brothers
number
from
10,
Jacksonville.
as always, is our know the show question.
That's right.
Okay? So you got to know the show in order to get this question. So that's what's up. Number 10, I tell you what, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Since Keith is already determined to be our winner, all right, I'm going to give somebody, whoever gets this question right.
There he is.
Oh,
Oops.
you got, all right, sorry. So, Keith, lay off of this question. You already got this. Whoever gets this question right, I'm going to give them also Eric Clapton pick.
Nice.
So this is getting good all of a sudden, right? So
Here we
I got
go,
2 up here. Keith's got 1. All right. Plus, we got some special trivia happening after this. All right, hang out. Number 10 for tonight. Number 10. Whoever gets this question gets that other pick. All right, you ready? Here we go. What was the Show Me Your Pick episode number when Greg joined us previously? What was the episode number? So this is episode 126, Kansas. Who wants that pick?
Close. Close, but not quite. Just a few numbers off. Ooh, real close.
Don't give them no hints now.
No, I'm not. Not
Let
really.
them earn it the old-fashioned way.
Ooh, so close. Andy Carson.
Andy,
Nice.
number 72.
Nice, Andy.
There
Yeah.
it is.
Very well played.
Good job, Andy.
So, Greg, you were with us early November of last year on episode number 72 of Show Me Your Pick.
I would not have guessed it was that long ago. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem
Yeah, it was 1
like
year
it's been
ago.
that long, but
A lot of episodes.
it's been a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So Andy grabs the second pick,
Yeah.
number 72. Way to be heads up,
That
Andy.
is all right.
Very
We're going
cool.
to do,
I can't wait for this next
as
part
soon
now.
as we get finished here with this, we're going to do an unboxing that involves Andy. So, yeah, real cool. But Keith Campbell is our winner for
Right there, brother.
tonight.
Congratulations, Steve. Congratulations, Andy, and congratulations in advance to the next trivia winner for Greg.
Yeah, so
That's going to be fun.
man, I really like it when we have special guests on, and there is nobody more special than Greg to come on the show. But I really like it when our special guests come with their own trivia questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Greg has brought his own question, and it's a difficult question too.
I think we should
I'll
highlight
tell you
them.
this. Yeah. So
Okay, so I'll kind of set it up for you. So this past summer, Styx and REO and Loverboy were out on a very successful tour. And the backstory on going into this is every show, they would alternate headlining acts. Some acts, one night Styx would headline, and then one night REO, and they would alternate on and off. And they would get extra time on their headlining slot. So when REO played the middle slot between Loverboy and Styx, they would take extra time at the end after their show to throw out picks to the audience, and it kind of got to be an ongoing frustration with Styx and the guys in Styx. So it came time for the very last show of that leg of that tour, and the Styx guys called me and said,
Andy.
Hey, Greg, we want to do a thing to kind of get back at REO, and we want to go out and throw out an extra handful of picks to the audience after our set, and then delay REO coming on for their set. So the question is, what is the quantity of picks that both Styx and the Styx crew threw out to the audience at their last show in September of this year? The total amount
so here is that in text. How many special commemorative picks did the Styx crew throw out to the audience to celebrate the last show of the 2022 summer tour with Loverboy and REO? And we need a number, a solid number. And why don't you tell them what the prize is, Greg?
Okay, so the prize will be, and I'm kind of getting into this new, but I'm making these larger, oversized picks. And what I want to offer is whoever wins this prize, I will imprint on here anything you would like, a logo or lettering or a combination or anything you want, and then I'm going to poke a hole in it and we'll make it, and then I'll put a strand around it, and it'll become a Christmas tree ornament for you. So
right on.
Anything you want put on
That is
there?
way cool, Greg. God, that is way cool.
Right on. So, all right. So there is your question. How many special commemorative picks? And we know the exact number here. So there is an exact number that you need to, and you will get that oversized guitar pick with your stuff on it. How cool is that?
There's tons of answers coming in. From the reserved to the ridiculous.
Watch those numbers, Sandra. So Greg, so Styx, so they went back and forth on who was going to be the headliner, but Loverboy was headlining that night, so Styx held the show up while their crew chunked these guitar picks into the crowd, huh?
Well, yeah, Loverboy was always the opening act, but Styx and Ario would alternate back and forth. And so it always got to be a kind of a joke or a frustrating joke with the guys in Styx when they were headlining, and that Ario would take extra time at the end of their set to go out there and just kind of, throw picks to the crowd. So the Styx folks, they all wanted to get even. And then they thought, well, let's have the crew be part of the celebration, maybe to kind of help it take even a little longer to go out and throw this batch of picks to the crowd. So we may have to do kind of a hint here and there to kind of get folks zeroed in on it. But
well, our answers are coming in, and they are ranging, in size. So we'll see what we have. We'll cut it off at a certain point, Greg, and then we'll determine the closest to our number. Yeah.
That sounds good. Hey, well, while they're doing that, let me finish that my story about hooking up with Rich from Kansas last month.
Excellent.
And so I was talking to Rich, and again, I was just so happy to see him, and happy that he's back out on the road, and he's happy to be out on the road doing what they do. They are done for the year now, but they're looking at a pretty big year next year to go out. But his wife, Debbie, was with him at that show. And I've kind of crossed paths with her before, but I've never really spoken to her. But it was just her and I and Rich just standing by ourselves. And Debbie made a point of showing me a necklace that she had that had a pick in it from Rich. And I believe it was probably a pick that he gave her early on when they met. And Holly, I know, Holly, if you're out there, you may have seen this pick or know about it as well and know the background of this pick. But this particular one, it was a white pick and it had blue ink. This is back, I did this back in my pad printing days. So it was just simple blue ink. And on one side it had Rich's signature, and on the flip side it had a dove. And what the dove means to the history of Kansas is when they were early on in their career and they were out in Hollywood, out in the LA area, all the members of the band went and got a dove tattoo in various parts of their body. In a photo you'll see later, I'll point out the dove tattoo is on Phil Ehart's forearm, but they all have this dove tattoo. So that has been a key symbol for that band and those band members since early on. I don't know if they were out there doing some recording or what the situation was, but I believe they were all down on Sunset Boulevard and said, hey, we all need to get a tattoo to kind of solidify our bond. And so it is always, there it is. There's a photo there. And if you look on Phil's right forearm, there's the dove, and that's the exact logo that Richard sent me to put on the picks. So Debbie had that, and she got very emotional talking about it. And she said, Greg, this pick means more to me than my wedding ring that I got from Rich. So, I mean, she was just thrilled to have it, and it stays right there close to her heart. But that was a cool discussion with Debbie, and a nice lady, and we had a nice discussion with the three of us there. So, by the way, that photo, and there's another one that Tony might show later. I mean, what I like about those photos are, I mean, these are not staged. This was at a show in Clinton, Iowa. And I went up early in the day, and Rich said, hey, come on back and we can just kind of chit chat and hang out a little bit. And so these aren't the staged photographs where, folks have to line up and you get 2 seconds to get a photo. This is, and Rich and I are pretty casual here, but this is just Rich and I, and he's eating the cheese sandwich over there on the table. So we're just sitting back chit chatting about music and picks and things in Clinton, Iowa. And then the same thing with the other photo too, which was the same day. It's just we were just sitting there talking, and that's Billy and their violin keyboardist or violin guitar player, Ragsdale and Phil. As a matter of fact, that day, Phil wanted me to do picks for a band he was starting to manage, which was Jimmy Vaughn's son. So,
oh wow,
I think he was trying to reach out and try to get into kind of diversify and get into managing some up and coming acts back then. But yeah, I mean, we were just sitting there chit chatting, and some photographer walked by and said, "Hey, let me get a quick photo." So that's not a, it's kind of an unstaged photo of us just hanging out there. But
that's a great.
And those are the photos I like. It's not just it's not a quick look. Okay, smile and take a shot, and everybody goes their own way. So yeah, good group of guys there.
Very cool.
Good group of guys.
Cool.
Right on.
But
hey, I was going to ask you, did you have a story? Did the Kansas manager ever get upset with you or something about hanging out with the Doobie Brothers one time? I heard something about that.
Yeah, I most of my backstage stories are we talked last time too. Mostly backstage is pretty boring. Folks don't want to believe that, but it's usually pretty boring backstage. I went to see Kansas, and I've had very, very few sour moments in my days of working with bands. But I went to see Kansas, about 5 years ago in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and they were opening for the Doobie Brothers. And it was an outdoor venue. It was a nice summer day. So I took a friend of mine along, and, we got our credentials. We're just kind of hanging around, walking backstage, minding our own business, trying to stay out of the way of everybody. And we happened to stop into the catering tent just to, just sit down and maybe grab a bite to eat, not thinking anything of it. Because usually when I go back to see my bands, they're all like, "Okay, Greg, come on in. The place is yours. Whatever you need, have at it. And if you need anything, ask me." So I'm kind of used to that. That situation, and I never take advantage of that as much as I could or should.
Sure.
I'm always kind of low key. I never want to crowd the bands or the crew or the management. But this particular day, we happened to sit down in catering in the hospitality area.
Yeah.
And grabbed a little plate, and we were just kind of hanging out, not eating much. Well, after Kansas finished, I'm walking around, and the manager walks up to me and says, "Greg, I need to talk to you about something, and let's do it, sooner rather than later." And I'm like, yeah, what you got? I'm thinking he's going to ask for, a favor or a picture or something. He says, he kind of got in my face, and he says, "Look, if my band comes up short with food, I'm coming at you, and that's on you." And he went on and on and on about this thing about the food. And I thought he was kidding, right? I'm like, I thought he was just kidding, but he just kept going at it and at it and at it.
How much were you eating, Greg?
We didn't have anything, but I think he was he was in a bad mood. But I turned to my friend later and said, I said, "Rick, I apologize. I've never experienced anything like that." And I'm just trying to mind my own business. We're trying to be low key backstage, but their manager just jumped all over me, and it still bothers me. He kept saying, "Man, you if my band is short on food, that's on you." And he just kept going on and on and on.
Wow.
And
that's a little ridiculous. Those are catered affairs.
It was really over the top. And later on, he's not with them anymore. He's not their manager anymore.
That was my next question. I was going to ask you. So.
I remember hearing an interview with Steve Walsh a while back, and when he talked about why he retired. And Steve's voice was kind of worn, and he had various reasons for stepping aside.
Sure.
But I remember him saying in that interview, he said, and on top of all that, our manager was not a nice guy. So even Steve thought that the manager was a little over the top, but that was really embarrassing. That was
wow.
I'm trying to be a good guest and trying to show my guest a good time, and we're just plopped down, and it got a little ugly. So that's probably one of the most sour moments I've had in my backstage experiences. And I'm walking around. I've got a whole set of credentials for. I'm walking around with
Wait a minute, Greg. You can't just show that for a second. Come on, give us some eye candy. Let's see what you got there. What are we looking at?
and I think I'm okay to show these because they don't really know much, but I'll flip these out. I'll flip them out real quick. These are some of the laminates I had in that, so. And I got a whole bunch. This one I liked. This is from 2006. It had the whole backline information.
Wow.
Not that I needed that, but it was kind of a cool little
Wow.
novelty to have with
That's a cool extra.
Yeah.
yeah. But I got a bunch of them.
That's
from
awesome.
All Access. But I was wearing one of these those days. I mean, the manager knew me, and I like that leftover one there. But I had my credentials.
Was that was that a left overture? Could I see the left overture again? You're throwing up some history eye candy here, like it's no big deal. And this is show me your pick, Greg. You got to.
I show you some of my yeah. This was a 2016 the left overture laminate.
Oh,
But,
dude, those are so cool, man.
So yeah, I had my credentials that day, but somehow it turned pretty sour. So I
Wow.
hey, and speaking of left overture, and again, I know I haven't directly heard from Holly, but here's the picks I gave Rich when he was in town last month. I don't know if is that clear for you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
There it goes.
That's and so with the signature on the flip side. But so the story is real quick while we're waiting for kind of zeroing in on the trivia question is, so Rich anymore, because of his arthritis, he plays Herico picks usually on stage. And
Right.
it's the old school Hericos, which are a molded plastic, and it has exceptional grip on it. That's kind of what they were all about.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with Herico, because he's, and I don't take a person that doesn't play these anymore, but he kind of hands them out. But whatever it takes to keep Rich playing, he can play. If it keeps him on the road, then that's
There
okay.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But they're
right.
kind of a gray pick usually, and it has and it's just a straight plastic pick, but it's got a very good grip on it.
How thick is
And
it?
I think he really needs that. The way he described, he needs that because of his arthritis.
Is
A
it,
lot of the players use the Hercos, even kissing the rest down the mic stand. You'll see a couple of the Hercos that
Yep.
just for grip, if they're having a night where they can't hold on, they'll grab those. And
Gotcha.
yeah,
What
they
kind of
are
games
more
are we talking
grippy.
here? Has he gone a little thinner in his older age, or is he still playing a medium or a?
It was a pretty heavy pick. It was probably like a .88 millimeter, but it was pretty solid pick. And he uses that for his acoustic work and for his electric. Because if you've seen his setup, he always has an acoustic guitar on a stand right in front of him.
Yep,
And
right
then
off to
anymore
his
he's
right. Right to his right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he's anymore, at least that night, he's playing a Paul Reed
PRS
Smith
now.
guitar.
Mhm.
Yep. But so what happens is Debbie, his wife, who I believe is going out to more and more shows with them now,
Mhm.
she'll take picks out and give them to young fans in the audience, and she enjoys seeing their reaction, to getting a memento of the band, and it's, I think especially for the younger crowd, it kind of you find a young guy in the crowd who's getting turned on to Kansas for the first time or early in their life, that may help perpetuate and just increase their interest in the band. So it kind of keeps the band
Yeah.
alive for the next generation. So,
That's right.
but
That's
those are
excellent.
But I like that logo that, he likes it too, and she likes handing them out. So,
Nice.
but I was going to ask if Holly is out there, if she can chime in to see if Holly, have you ever seen one of those Dove picks, or have you ever, has anyone ever gotten one of those? I did them in blue ink and I think red ink quite a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
How can I get one? That's
Let
what
me-
Holly says.
Let me pull up Now she's gotten Kansas picks at shows before. I'm gonna pull up what she. Let me pull this up like that.
I like our guesses that are still coming through. Can we, Tony, can we say that the current list of guesses on there are still too low? Can we throw that out as a tidbit?
Yeah.
They are still a little conservative.
A little on the low side, right.
I'll throw one more thing out. We're looking at a possible world record for this number of picks that we're throwing out. It's being processed through the Guinness World Record, folks. So I see one that's a little too high, but we're getting close.
Let me show this real quick. So this is Holly's that she sent a picture of.
Oh, that's great.
Her Kansas guitar picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was back in my pad printing days. Just a single color. Nice and simple.
Yep. And I've got some also that I'm sure you've made a couple of these in this batch, Greg. We are continuously, not every week, but many weeks here on Show Me Your Pick, no matter what band that we're covering, and we cover a wide variety of different kind of bands, we always find legend picks amongst the stuff.
Yep. Well, good. Well, I see we have posted the Ted Nugent video from years and years ago. I saw you. I think you posted that at some point in time, right? Where he talks about he got those picks from I don't know. You kind of rambles on about he got it from a dancer or a naked lady somewhere or something.
But what Greg's talking about is I've included another link. Greg's links are down below in the description, but you'll also find a second link, a Ted Nugent shout out link. And it's very short, so you can watch it real quick, but he gives Greg a shout out and says he uses legend picks, and it's very
killer.
Cool. Yeah.
It's absolutely killer, man.
Yeah. But I've since included that as well as down below. But Greg, we absolutely, and everybody who has these things absolutely loves them, man. So thank you so much again for these buttes. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it's my honor and pleasure to do those for you and to be part of, and again, once again, to be brought into your inner circle here. I'm honored. I am honored. So
we absolutely love these guitar picks. Absolutely love these guitar picks. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Hey, I got another quick question.
Yeah.
What's this business about quiet time in Kansas? Is this a pre or post concert ritual that these guys?
That was another time. That wasn't quite as embarrassing, but I've got a million of these backstage experiences. Usually they're pretty boring, but once in a while you have something that kind of stands out. So I took a friend of mine down to Burlington, Iowa, to see Kansas. God, this
Burlington, Iowa.
15 years ago, right? And he, that was back in my drinking days too. So.
This is going to be a great story. Okay, great.
Huh? Great. So when Kansas finished, and we had a couple of these, we had our all access laminates. So when they finished their set, we kind of go barging back through the doors, and my buddy of mine especially, he's like, guys, that was and he just went on and on real loud about how great the show was, and my God, you guys killed it, and all this, and he just went on for like 2 minutes. And and at that point, the manager back then, Gnfnr, says, "Hey, you got to keep it down. This is quiet time."
Quiet time.
Yeah, I mean, so they come off. And this is not. I'm not talking trash about Kansas, but
This is
at that
after
point in
concert,
time,
though. We're talking post-concert.
this was after the
I
concert.
got you.
After the concert, you know, they had probably just. I think we were probably standing side stage, and they had probably just finished and gotten rushed into this back room.
Mm-hmm.
And my buddy and I burst through. And I even back then in my drinking days, I had some pretty good etiquette, but my buddy did not. So he kind of goes bursting through. He's like, "Oh my God, that was the best show ever," and just went on and on and on, really loud and really obnoxious. And they're like, "This is quiet time for the band," and they were all kind of low key. So I don't know what the deal was there, but. That was an odd turn of events. You know, we figured they'd walk back, they'd towel off, and we could have a little chit chat, and they'd be excited. But we kind of got hushed.
Okay, so this is the first time and only band that I've ever heard did this. I'm sure. Now I've seen a lot of bands get into a huddle before a show.
Yeah,
but I have. Yep. Don't think I've ever seen a band huddle up after a show.
No,
I watched Roach and the White Boys before they opened for the Bus Boys. They all prayed in a circle before the show. But after that show, everybody went their ways. So is it a way for them to kind of unwind? Do they like reflect on what they just did as a group? Is it a family kind of a thing?
I don't.
You got to go in and you barged in on an experience of something that Kansas was doing that I've never heard of another band ever doing it ever.
I didn't get it, and I don't know if that was. I didn't know if that was part of. You know, there's been some drama in that band. That's not a secret, but I don't know if that was their way of after the shows kind of keeping to themselves. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, that's Holly's signed album right there.
Oh, very cool. Very
nice.
Cool.
That is so cool, Holly. Wow.
Holly, I've heard that you're a huge fan and you've seen them many, many times. What is there a memory or a special song that stands out for you as well, or what drew you to the band? I'm sorry, Tony, I'm just kind of curious with Holly being a super fan.
Yeah,
love to hear what
Holly's a big Kansas fan. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Holly,
keep these numbers coming, guys.
Okay. While you're gathering your thoughts, one more quick story about. Well, I've got a bunch of them, but I'll tell you one more story that I didn't quite understand from a Kansas show. And again, I mean no disrespect to any of the current or former members of the band. But actually, it was the same day that those pictures were taken that we showed earlier. They had sign language people on the side of the stage when Kansas was playing. On both sides, they
had they ever done this before, Greg?
I've never seen it. I've
never seen that. I've seen them a few times, you know, back in the early days. They never had that.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. It might have been tied to the venue. This was kind of an outdoor show in Clinton, Iowa, and maybe I don't know why it was that specific. I don't know why they had it.
Interesting.
But
I've never seen
they had sign language right on the side of the stage, visible to the doing it to the crowd, and a couple of songs into their show. I happened to notice that Steve Walsh saw that and had them exit the stage. He had them leave. And I don't know what I don't know what the rationale, I don't know what the situation was, but from my angle looking at it, he saw it, and I remember him talking to somebody, waving to somebody and talking to them, and then they told these sign language folks to exit basically
Did it kind of distract from the show? Because, it could be considered inappropriate to ask that question because, that would be for the deaf. And so that's kind of an awkward situation, Greg. And I can't imagine being the guy. I wouldn't have the nerve to make that call. But
no, it was very,
how it would be distracting.
Yeah.
Especially if they were projecting it up on a screen. That would be a little awkward. I don't know. That's really interesting, bro.
Yeah, I don't know the background and what brought that on, but you're right. It may have been for whatever reason. It might have been distracting for Steve. He's focused. He's got to do his thing, and it may have thrown him off a little bit, but it didn't last long. It didn't last long.
Interesting.
And again, I don't mean to say this 6 times, but I mean no disrespect because those guys. I mean they've got to get in their zone and do their thing, especially for the what they do. But it was just I took note of it, and it was unique. It was a unique situation.
Wow.
So,
wow.
I see they're pretty close. We're pretty
a
close.
lot of close numbers. Yeah,
a couple.
Pretty
a
close.
lot of close numbers.
Is it?
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Boomster Black's pretty close. So
hang on. There's yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of close answers.
Well, I see a lot of close stuff here.
Will, I've got a name who's in first and who's in second.
So you've seen those. Okay, bro.
Yeah,
All right.
All right.
So let me close out my discussion. What I had with my discussion with Rich when I saw him last month. And again, this is after I, after I shed a tear or two during watching them play and going through all those emotions of what it meant, of what their music meant to me. Mm-hmm. And then having a nice chit chat with Rich, who seemed to be he's healthy. He doesn't drink anymore either. I mean, he looks good. He's healthy.
Hip Metal Works won it with 3012.
He lost a lot of weight. He definitely got healthier as time went on, as the band progressed.
There's your winner right there.
Hip Metal Works. He rocked.
Hip Metal Works. We had a couple close ones too. We had Ed with 3005. He was just a few away. We had Dave Z with 3,000 and we had a few of them, but somebody got it right on the baloney, baby.
Yeah, somebody was so close early on, and I couldn't really say. There was 2 that I think it was Dan in New Jersey that first said 3,000.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know how many guesses ago, but yeah.
It was a long time ago.
So who is our winner, Sandra?
Hip Metal Works is our winner.
Hip Metal Works, right on, brother.
Nicely played, bro.
Right on, dude.
Talk about a
12, right on the money. Man, he got it exact. How'd you know? Man, I haven't even shown the picture. I've got a picture to prove it. Right?
Look at all those pics.
There it is.
That's ridiculous.
They threw all those out there. All right.
So
ridiculous.
Tony, go ahead and put that up again. I'll tell. Can you, if you can't tell what's on them, it has on one side it has the Styx logo, the Oreo logo, and the Loverboy logo, and then on the flip side it's Live and Unzoomed 2022. So.
Wow, that's so cool.
In white and in red, yellow, blue, and a mixed color there, mixed bag.
Yep.
And white, right on.
So I think it took them quite a while to throw those picks out. So I think they got their point across to Oreo in that last concert. I think they came out ahead. they won that little battle. So
That
Right
is
on.
crazy. Hey, here's a crazy question.
So Greg,
Go ahead.
let me ask you. So Hip Metal Works, can he contact you in the links that we have
Yeah.
in the show down there
yep,
about that oversized guitar pick? Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Send me an email with what, if you have a logo or whatever you've got, whatever you have in mind to put on the pick, and I'll get it on there for you. I'll do a proof, make sure it's what you want before I go to press and send it out to you. And then I'll cut a little hole up here. I'll put a little Christmassy tag through it, and that'll be your 2022 commemorative oversized guitar picks. So,
Right on,
That is
dude.
awesome.
That's cool. Hip Metal Works. So
okay.
hit Greg up. The links are down below, dude, in the description. And everyone, if you want custom guitar picks, Greg is our guy. They are lovely. Links are down below. Yeah.
Good. I'll take good care of you. Let me get a name on that though. What is the first name of Hip Metal Works? So who's?
Let's see. Hip Metal Works. What's your first name?
Ken.
Ken.
Okay, Ken.
All right.
All right, my friend.
All
I
right.
look forward to hearing
Right
from you.
on.
I'll get you taken care of right away then. Okay. Thanks for playing,
Coolness,
everyone.
man.
That was kind of a fun one. So
That
as far
was
as I know, and you can all chime in. As far as I know, that might be a world record, huh? I think that.
There's a lot of
that's a lot. That approaches Rick Nielsen. He throws
Yeah.
a lot of picks in a show,
Yeah.
but that is a lot of picks to be. I'd like to be in the front row when they're up there doing this.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All righty. That was fun. So,
It
Excellent.
was.
Excellent, you guys.
That was a big number too. I'm surprised that somebody got it right on the money. I thought we were going to have to cut the contest off and find the nearest one.
Yeah. I'm so glad that didn't happen.
hey, let me show you one more thing that Rich. That's one more show and tell item, okay, for you.
Mhm.
Rich sent me this a while back. I mean, gosh, 15 or so years probably. And I don't know the background of it. And maybe there's something that I don't know if I think he was involved with making it or doing the design, but or somehow he was involved with the business aspect of it. But this is called actually it's from 2004. It's called the humbuckle. And what it is, it's a humbucker pickup, like on a Gibson Les Paul, but it's made for a belt buckle. So
Greg, lift that up a little bit higher.
oh,
Lift it up just a little higher so the buckle's in the center of the screen, please.
so it's kind
Oh,
of based.
dude.
It looks like a Gibson
The
Hummingbird or a
chat is
Gibson.
flipping out right now. That is absolutely badass. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's really a cool item, and I think so. It had a loop for the belt, and then it had the little snap for a belt. Sorry, I got to get this lined up, but
Sure.
I don't know what Rich's involvement was with it, but I got it and kind of tucked it away. And I'm not sure if I should go to this website, humbuckle.com. I'll have to go ahead and see if it's still active or not. But
Yeah.
I need to have one of those.
yes, it is. It's a very cool thing, isn't it?
That's a really badass belt buckle. You were talking about a belt buckle. I'm thinking, he's got a belt buckle. I had no idea, bro. I had no idea. Chat's freaking. Holly Lewis is freaking out.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
R2,
more
right?
like a
Right?
humbucker. You got to really look at it to see the Kansas in the. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, very
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, Keith. That thing is badass, Greg. Dude.
They need to sell that at their merchandising tent, I would think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sorry, I got all kinds of stuff here. My props next door. I got to pop up once in a while and show these things.
Lenny Lou says that just when you wonder what to do with a broken pickup, there you go. That's what you do with
Yes.
it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Hey, the dog putts. Good to see you, brother. Right
Hey,
on, man.
Dogpo, what's up, bro? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Nice to see the Dogpo. He was tied for the he was the first winner here on Show Me Your Pick.
Really?
The first winner ever.
Well, you guys might want to remember that. That could be a
Yep.
trivia question.
Good to see you, bro.
You can count on it.
It has been won before. We asked that a few months ago, Charles.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
We did.
Yep. Sofa King badass, Keith. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Keith says that already was a trivia question. It was.
We asked that a few months ago. We did. I'm gonna change camera views here, and I'm gonna show you some Kansas picks. How about it? What do you think?
Hey, I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna get some coffee.
And we've got an unboxing. Me and Mr. Charles do. Let's see here. You make these, Greg?
I don't think I made. I did not make those Billies as well. No, I did work for Billy for quite a while. We did a variety of picks for him, but I don't think I did those.
These are Ernie Ball, Steve Morse.
Oh, the Steve Morse days. Okay. I saw them play with Steve once.
Oh. Yeah, I like Steve. Let's see here. So this is and the reverse is the King's X, and this is an in tune. Yeah. And that's it of those. Well, I tell you what, let's while we're here, guys, let's show a couple of have we got something new on the chopping block? We got a couple of new ones on the chopping block. Just a couple, but still. How about this?
Oh, dude. Nice.
That's a record store day.
Wow. That's very cool, Tony.
And let's see what else. You got to look real hard. I may have to.
Is that an Eddie?
Yeah, these are the, you can't, it says, let me show you this side first.
Almost was showing up, Tony.
And
wow.
Wow, look at
have
that.
a nice day. And it's embossed. It's like a molded thing. He gave these out at the 04 VIPs. This was what your VIP had in it.
What is that?
See you next time.
See you next time. My gosh.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah, and this came in the, yeah, but that's from 04 there. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it. That's the new.
Nice.
Here's a trivia question someone might know. I've never had the nerve to ask Rich this question, and I can't find it online. And maybe for all you Kansas super fans that are out there, here's out of just 6 seconds of guitar playing. I don't know if Rich or Carrie played that guitar solo in the middle of Carry On Wayward Son. You know, where it goes ding 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 ding. I don't know.
I believe it was Carrie.
It was
And
Carrie. I
only-
figured it probably was.
Well, only because of their playing styles are not the
Yep.
same, and
Yep.
it's just more it's really the most badass lick of the whole song. It's the crescendo of the solo. It's the lick of the song. I believe it was Carrie. Not to take anything away from Rich because I know he could play it, but
Yeah.
that's what I've always thought, Greg. Just
I agree. I agree. And I've always wanted just to kind of ask that just to get the official answer from Rich, but I maybe I don't want to know officially, but I'm with you, Charles. I assume it was Carrie playing that. I don't know who played. I mean, Carrie did all those.
But you never had the nerve to ask for it.
I couldn't ask. I can't ask that. I mean, I don't know why, but that's always been a.
I can see how you would have reservations to ask him.
Yeah, I always want to say, hey, Rich, how the guitar pick's working out, but I to go any further than that. I don't know why.
You could say, "Hey, Rich, you know that part of the song where you're playing that lick?" And if he hangs his head and kind of goes like that, you go, "Maybe not."
What you do is
next
time you see him, you say, "Hey, man, how's it going? I've been dying to ask you this. Let me ask you this," and just ask him.
You tell him to watch the show and give him the timestamp on it and see if he gets back to you.
I know I need to do that, but because for as small of a segment as that is, it is such a recognizable guitar lick. But I'm with you. I could see Rich. It would fit Rich more to do that little foundation of the background. The downstepping in the background there to kind of match what the bass is doing too. But I don't know why, but that's always been in my mind, and I just never have had what it takes to ask him. Not that I think he would be upset or worried about it, or say, "Hey, Greg, I wish that was my solo," but it's not.
If you really want to get really technical,
I will ask him, and I'll report out next time we hook up on this show sometime down the road.
Yeah. Well, he would play melody a lot in his lead work. It was more of a melody, a background. He would lay background.
Yeah.
It would just flow like this. He's incredibly underrated as a guitar player, and his longevity. They're going on 50 years, right?
Yeah.
Is that about correct?
Yeah.
Going on, they're going to be what are they at 46 years now as a band? 70,
probably 74, I think, when they were Left Overture was released in middle of 76, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that. Didn't they actually form though in like 70?
So I mean, but then going back to Monolith and their first album is probably 74, I believe.
That is
ridiculous. Maybe 70. It might be even next year that they kind of started off officially as a touring band, because Rich did kind of refer to that during our last recent discussion that next year might be their 50th.
Yeah,
I was going to say at least 47,
they're
48
approaching
years.
50.
That is like, I mean, that's approaching like Rolling Stones longevity.
Yep.
It's unseen.
Yeah.
There's not that many bands that can say they've been together 50 years. Rock and roll bands, especially.
Right.
That's
I know that their whole story is just amazing. And I mean, and again, I'll say it for the sixth time. That's why I got kind of emotional when I saw them. And part of the emotion is thinking to myself, is this the last time I'll see these guys?
You
know,
got to ask
whether
yourself
it's them or
question.
Styx
Yeah.
or any of the bands from that area. This might be the last time that I see them on a stage.
I'm
and,
hoping
you know,
we can. I hope they have more in them, and I hope that we can actually catch them. It would be so cool. You know, my daughter, just as a little side note, I took her to the REO Speedwagon Styx Loverboy tour, and she just fell in love with Styx. And Styx is coming back around. They've already got tickets. They're going. And I find that ironic because she grew up in the era of My Chemical Romance. That's like her music, but she's loving Styx. And I would love to take her to see Kansas with Styx or Kansas with Loverboy, or that would be just great. That would be so.
Well,
I hope I see him again.
I know I've taken my son to shows and trying to get him the same thing, to try to get you know, him exposed to that music, and maybe it'll catch on, and it kind of did. But Rich said they want to do 90 shows next year. Did I lose you all here? Did I?
No, you're right here, brother.
Oh, okay. Charles, you kind of froze on me. But Rich said they're looking to do 90 shows next year.
That's that's a lot of shows, man.
That's a lot of shows, and that might be the Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows, and then take a few days off. But because they don't take, I don't think they take a bus anymore. They fly to their shows, and then get the backline set up. So, and they've earned the chance to do that. They've earned that, you know. So
yes, they have. Yes, they have. You know, it's God, I just love coming on here with you, Greg, and getting to talk about this stuff. I love doing this with you guys.
Right back at you. I could talk for. I know on our last session we talked for almost 3 hours about things, and I could talk about this stuff for days and days. Just what it meant, and we've all been privileged to see these classic bands. You know, and I think we talked about this last time too, but. Here we're talking about Kansas and Styx and REO and all these other bands 50 years after their origin.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't think that any of the current bands, and I'm so out of touch with today's music, but I can't see any of the current bands or recent bands having that kind of longevity. I don't think it's feasible. I don't think
it's interesting you say that.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab
at the same time,
tea.
Greg, I do see longevity. Okay, so the Foo Fighters are no longer a new band. They're falling into the old school, but they've been together forever. They're going to be together, right?
Hang on a second, Charles.
Oh, go ahead. So Holly sent Rich a link to the show, and I think you're going to get to ask a question. Am I reading that correctly?
Charles, I'm sorry, you cut out for a second there. Was that to me?
Holly Lewis posted, it says, I just sent Rich the link to this show and told him that you, Greg, has a question.
We're going to get Rich on here?
We're going to find out about that lick, I'm guessing. Sunday, that would be okay.
Do I get to ask him the question in front of this crowd?
That would really be very cool.
That would be very cool. That would be very cool. Thank you, Holly, for stepping up and doing that.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Heck, I lost track of what we were talking about, Greg. That's really
the longevity issue in that. And I kind of cut up, but I want to hear your take on that.
Well, I'd heard, not to throw anyone under the bus, but I heard Jethro Tull about 10 years ago. They were doing an intimate little show, and they were playing some of their old tunes. And I've always been a huge Jethro Tull fan. I saw them back in the day, and they really softened in their old age. They really didn't hit the mark. I hate to say it. I'm a huge fan, but it was kind of depressing for me to see that. And I was expecting sort of the same thing from some of these bands that, you know, have come back around, and I've got to see them again. Kansas still brings it. They still bring it. I watched on YouTube just a very recent. They had an orchestrated. They brought an orchestra with them, and they were playing basically a medley. It wasn't a medley, but it was a group of a lot of their catalog. Not only are the songs timeless, but they have the same energy and power behind the music because the guys playing it are still bringing it. And that's what I'm trying to say. They're still bringing it. And I find that just amazing. They're not spring chickens anymore. None of us are.
Yeah.
But I think that is just wonderful. But I'd really like to know if that was him playing that lick or not. I really.
I know.
And now I'm kind of bummed I said no, because if it was, he's going to be all mad at me. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
They've made their stamp on music, but it is nice that they're still able to go out and tour and bring it live.
Yeah.
You know. And got more plans for more. So right on.
I mean, the guy they brought in, Ronnie Platt, who sings all of Steve's lines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Chicago guy, and now I just lost. He has fronted a couple of other classic rock bands. I'm thinking, band maybe like Point Blank or something along those lines. But he is just phenomenal. He is phenomenal. And then Billy doing Robbie Steinhardt's vocals. They blend real well. It's an amazing show. It's an amazing show. So
right on. Let's do unboxing. Why don't we do this, Charles? Why don't we unbox this at the same time, dude?
Okay, I got one right here.
I got one right here.
All right, you ready?
I guess so. Let's do this. All right. I think there's more than just a letter in here.
Yeah, I didn't want to spill anything out. So this is from Andy Carson. I'm going to read the letter here I won't read it out loud.
Oh, I'm dropping stuff.
Don't be doing that, bro.
I am.
Andy, you rock, brother. You rock. Right back at you, man. Right back at you.
All right, let's see what we've got here. All right.
So I have some picks.
All right.
You know, Sandra was saying backstage before the show what she thought about these picks, and I gotta say, when it comes to having your own pick and designing your own pick, you are knocking it out of the park, brother. Right out of the park. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, dude.
For giving me these, Andy. I really, really appreciate it. These are, in this community, these picks, and everybody in the chat who's received these would agree that these are extra special picks. We really appreciate what you do, Andy. It's a selfless thing that you've chosen to do for your career, and we all feel safer having guys like you out there with our backs. So
Yeah.
we love the
Right
hell
on.
out of you, brother. That's absolutely badass. Thank you very much.
Let me show this pick. I got a handful of these things in my envelope too from Andy. Thank you so much, dude. I must say, let me show these things properly. All right. So Andy is in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he's a firefighter at Station 5. And I have to say that of all the cool new guitar pick designs that I've seen this past year, I would say ours that Greg has made for our shows, obviously, I think are awesome. But this has got to be the nicest guitar pick I've seen all year. Is it, Charles?
It's
I
extra
think it
special,
is.
brother. I like it, man.
And look at the back, dude.
That's wonderful. Chattanooga, man. Chattanooga.
Right on, Andy.
Very cool, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's it. All right. Let's go.
This is the best damn community. I'm just going to say it like that. And Greg.
Yes, sir.
You need to not be a freaking stranger so much, brother. I mean, this what's it been a freaking year since you've been here? Come on, please.
Yes, and that's on me, Charles, and I apologize to you, and I have apologized to Tony many times because we've chatted for the last year on kind of a regular basis, and yeah, you all have been so welcoming. If you welcome me, I'll come join the chat room as well. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Greg, you have an open invitation here. You are definitely a VIP here. You make us wonderful guitar picks. The community loves them. We love them. And thank you for them, sir.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh.
you do great work. Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
You are our guy, and we're honored to have you here tonight.
Well, it's all my honor. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, hey, let me show you a couple of things to do a quick show and tell, if I can.
Sure, sure.
Cool.
Can I a little more show and tell for you?
Yeah, man.
Now Keith's on here now. Keith won the trivia contest last November, and so I went to see. That was all about Weird Al. So I went to see Weird Al this past summer. So
wait a minute, Weird Al
I
is.
just want to give a shout out. If Weird Al comes around you, and I think he did like 6 months of shows this year. But just another shout out on his behalf. If he comes around, you got to go see the guy. I mean, it is still it's still a fantastic show that he does, and with his band and his guitar player. So, anyways, I had that frame from the show, and I caught him at. I had it sitting handy. So, yeah.
Do you make guitar picks for Weird Al's band?
Yeah, for his
right
his guitar player. Yeah, so they're still out doing their thing. I have not caught his movie yet, the movie about him, but I've got to watch that one of these days.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then I didn't have a chance to show you all last time, but just so you get I guess a frame reference for where I'm sitting, I wanted to show you my studio.
Sure.
So I'm going to turn off these floodlights that are right in front of me here. I'm going to pick the PC up and just turn it around and let you see my, just for reference, so you see where I'm sitting here and what I use for I use it for my own playing, for my rehearsal studio. And then I rent it out to to band members locally here, because I've been that guy looking for a place to practice. I've been in cold and hot garages and basements and attics and dugout. I've rehearsed everywhere, and I know what it's like to find a place that's kind of accommodating for rehearsals. So I set this up, I rent it out, or I let folks use it, and I charge almost nothing, just because, again, I've been there. But I'm going to turn these lights off in front of me and then pick the PC
Yeah, sure.
up. Just so y'all can see this. I'll start down here, actually, with my guitars. There's a couple of Taylors, my Strat that I play, and my mid-70s Les Paul Deluxe.
Right on.
And then back here is...
Wait a minute, Greg, did you say you had a mid-70s Les Paul Deluxe?
Yeah.
Could you go back to it, please?
Yeah. This is the one I may have mentioned it last time. When I was 15, my folks bought me. Well, here, let's do this.
Dude, I'm seeing a sunburst down there on the floor that I'm dying to see. You're going to show us something that is really super special here. Look at this.
It's a mid-70s Deluxe with a cracked headstock that I did myself. But
that's even better. Oh my goodness! Look at this.
I did swap out. I put a Bill Lawrence pickup in it back in the 80s. But this was my go-to guitar when I first started playing clubs when I was 18.
You know, that is an absolutely beautiful guitar. Will you show the back, please? Can you do that? Man.
It's got kind of taped up. Got a lot of, speaking of belt buckles from Richard, I had a lot of bait buckle. This thing has been through a lot of drunken nights and a lot of clubs.
That is an absolutely beautiful guitar, my man.
So yeah, my folks got that for me when I was 15, and they bought me over here in my studio is a Roland JC60 amp they bought for me at the same time, and that's where I'm still. They both passed, but I'm still amazed to this day, all these years later, that they did that for a little punk that was trying to play guitar, that they bought me a Les Paul. So I don't know what I did to deserve it, but I'm glad they did.
Hey,
yeah, man.
That's
Right
wonderful, dude. That is
And then
wonderful.
That got a little heavy, so I bought this as a 1989 Strat that I got up in Chicago on 95th Street. So.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Let me see the back of that too. You got the best of both worlds. You got a beautiful Gibson and a beautiful Fender. I see you also changed the bridge pickup in that one as well. Is that a hot wheel I'm looking at right there?
That's also a Bill Lawrence. Yep.
Okay.
Kind of a Hot Rails version of it. But yeah. I probably should not have. Yeah, I probably should not have messed with the pickups in this, and especially the Les Paul. But that's kind of my. I don't gig much anymore, but that's kind of my. And then I've got a couple of Taylors.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! So, those are beautiful, man.
Yeah, I really. That's kind of what I'm getting into now. In my old age, is more acoustic playing, anyways. But I had I'd always wanted to find like a 1961 or a reissue 61 white Gibson SG, and I could never find one. I could never find one anywhere.
Yeah,
and so I ended up buying on a whim. I bought a double neck. I had a white double neck Gibson EDS 1275.
Very cool.
Those are those monster guitars, and and I loved it, but it just didn't. I really couldn't take it out to play. It was just
It's
almost
very cumbersome. It's hard to really play. It really is.
It was just too much guitar. Even though I always wanted the white SG, that was a little too much with the double neck. So I took it down years ago. I took it down to Groons and traded it in for one of my Taylors. But so those are my my
That's
go-to
great,
guitars.
bro. I didn't mean to stop you from showing. Go ahead if you would and keep showing.
Oh.
I just wanted to see the guitars, man. You can't go past a couple of guitars like that and just blow by them.
So I've got it's kind of hard to see, I guess, but I've got a whole rack of, I've got some electronic drums and a couple of, I've got an old classic PV amp. Some folks like those old, 80s sounds PVs. I've got a Roland JC60 down there in the bottom, and then a Vox emulating VT40 amp, and then a Marshall 100-watt half stack. And
Dude,
then
that's so cool.
I got
that is so
a
cool.
whole a PA system in here, and I try to make it a little, give it a little bit of a vibe for folks rehearsing. But
Sure, that's great, man.
That's at least gives you.
That's
kind of a
nice.
frame of reference.
Nice setup. Right on.
Yeah, it's it's a nice place to hang out. So, and then what I can't show you is my mess next door in my guitar pick shop. That is a disaster. that's the exact opposite. It is a mess. It is my wife walks in and she's like, "Are you kidding me? Because nothing's organized. I know where everything is,
but if you know where everything is and you're comfortable, that's what counts,
yep,
Greg.
There's no structure to it, but I know where everything is in there.
You go.
So
there you go.
So,
right.
Hey,
on.
Ben Thomas in the chat. We love you, Tommy. It's good to see you.
Hey, Tommy.
Right there, brother.
So let me show this and remind everyone. Greg's links are down below. If you want custom guitar picks made, Greg is your guy. You'll find him just down below in the description. Come back and click tomorrow. That's better. Get you a big bag of Legend picks with your design on them. Yeah, we love ours here, Greg, man. Absolutely.
well, let me know when you need a refill.
Yeah, will do.
I do this. It's just a labor of love. So I mean, if anyone wants picks, I hopefully offered this last time, but I'll do them for cost. So I mean, anyone in this group here is Guitar Pick family. So I'll do my best to take good care of you. So
Excellent. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, we love these, and yeah, so huddle up with Greg and get some guitar picks made with your design on them and specs. Yeah, you've seen ours here. Let's show these one more time. So the Show Me Your Pick, Fruitcake Tony pick.
Greg's going to do me some picks. I can't wait to have them. I cannot wait. It's going to be cool, man.
Yep.
And these buttes.
Super cool.
Yeah, over on Halenville on Wednesday. Yeah, these are lovely. Absolutely, Greg. Yeah. So who are you making right now in the pick shop? Who you making guitar picks for?
I'm sorry, you kind of cut out there, Tony. And I apologize again. Something has gone kind of wacko with my setup here with my Wi-Fi. So my apologies for kind of cutting out a few times.
No, it's fine.
You're good, bro.
I said, who are you making guitar picks for right now in the pick shop?
Well, I'm doing some for, this sounds like a broken record. I'm doing some more picks for sticks, but what I've gotten into now, and I've got a bunch of orders for regular clients, but what I've also gotten into really 3 or 4 years ago is I do stocking stuffer packages. And so I sell 12 picks, and I have licenses with some sports teams and some colleges, or I get a hold of freeware or software that's not licensed, and I mail out 12 picks for various designs. So I'll probably approach I probably have 30 orders to do yet tonight of those, and I'll probably approach. I bet I hit 100 orders any given day between now and Christmas for those stocking stuffers.
Wow.
So that kind of adds to my other requirements from mid-November until mid-December. But I sell them on Amazon and eBay and Etsy, and I have a lot of fun with those too. So
Yeah.
Excellent.
So
Yeah.
Greg, you
I kind of spun off into that probably 4 or 5 years ago, I guess it's been. I did that. So
yeah. Now you
other than that's my usual crew. So and a lot of repeat business. So
now that we're kind of out of the pandemic and all, you are accustomed already to going to NAMM every year. Is that right?
yes, yeah. This year it is in April. Last year it was in June. This year's April, and I think next year or in 2024 they'll get back to doing Winter NAMM in January, which is really the best time for it because most of the music stores at that point have kind of a slower month after Christmas. So, but yeah, I'm heading out there in. I'll go out there in April. Actually, I'm going out there for 3 weeks in January to do one of my other side gigs. I have some guitar pick business out there and some contacts and some things I need to do. But I'm also when I'm out there, I'll take a gig. You wouldn't know by looking at my mug on this picture, but I do some small time acting. So when I'm out there, yeah, when I'm out there for NAMM or just other things, I take a gig here and there. So I was out there a couple months ago and I was on a set with Carol Burnett. Carol Burnett. And it was a show. Allison Janney is on it, and Ricky Martin was on the set one day. And then I do some work in Chicago. I'm on Chicago PD and Chicago Fire. Wow. Last June I was out there, and last June for NAMM when I was out there, I worked on a show with Jerry Seinfeld. I was in a movie he's working on. So
that's awesome.
So it's actually it's a show called his show is called Unfrosted. It's a story about the Pop-Tart. So
really?
I spent a 12, 13 hours on a set with Jerry and a bunch of his comedian friends, and it was just a hoot. It was so. And then that same time out there in June, I was on a set with Christopher Waltz. If you're familiar with him, he was like on Django Unchained, and he's done some pretty good stuff. So, so that's one of my side gigs that I do when I'm out in California, or I go up to Chicago and do a few things here and there. So, but yes, NAMM. I'm looking forward to NAMM this year. Last year, NAMM was really scaled back. It wasn't the circus that it usually is, but hopefully this year it'll be a little better, and then hopefully by next winter or 2 years from now they'll get back to the full-blown chaotic circus that it is.
So, good. The chaos is good. You got to embrace it.
And it is chaos. It is very chaotic, but it is a lot of fun. It's and what a place to network and run into folks. And I remember I won't restate it, but I remember I told you all that's how I got my connection initially with Nugent, Tommy Shaw, and Jack Blades, was seeing their guitar tech out there after I had just seen him at a show locally about 2 months before NAMM. So it's the place to go to kind of keep networking and get out of the Midwest cold winters. So yeah, that'll be fun.
That is excellent. And Andy Carson, I just saw he's back in the chat again. Yeah, Andy, jump back in. We did an unboxing of your envelopes, and I just want to say before Tony gets a chance to, we love the hell out of you, man. You rock, bro, and thank you. Thank you. Very cool, man. Very cool.
I'm muted. All right. No, I'm not. But yeah, Andy, thank you, dude. That got to be the nicest guitar pick I've seen all season. So, yeah, beautiful. Absolutely. I've got a couple too. Yeah. Station 5, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That's it.
Yeah. You got shirt on, dude.
Yes, I
Show
do.
that-
It's
show
I'll
off
tell
that
you what I
shirt,
love. It's the
dude.
back of this darn shirt. You guys check that thing out, man. It's absolutely badass. I love it. I love this shirt, man.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Right on, Andy. Yeah, I love these picks, man. Thanks, dude. And I've got a couple, and we may, in fact, because I have a couple here, we may, in fact, include one of these, maybe, next week in trivia. Yeah.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, we'll see. I only need one. Yeah. But they are beautiful picks, Andy. Thank you, bro.
Yes, they are, man.
Yeah. All right, let's see where we are. Let's before we get too far and before I forget, let me now Greg at Legend Picks, the links are always down below in these shows. It's at the first spot in each show's description. Always. Yeah. And you'll also find Neil Daly's links down there. If you need a custom guitar build, if you're thinking about one, Neil Daly, that's who you ought to call. Huddle up with Neil. His links are down below. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And our friend Brendan B. Squared, who brought us some cool live stuff from Steel Panther at the Chance in Poughkeepsie tonight. That was cool. Didn't know what they were gonna sing or say or what, but it is
I knew
it
what they
is.
were going to say. We've talked about it before. The one thing you can't do playing Steel Panther songs. I love Steel Panther. I know 5 of their songs. I can't play them here. I play Asian Hooker 200 times trying to play the song. I can't do it.
Yeah,
Can't do it,
I know.
Can't do it. Love
But
them.
their shows are fun though. Their
That's right.
shows are fun. But so Brendan B. Squared could not be with us because he is at Steel Panther at the Chance. Hopefully,
Having
he got
the
a
time
pick
of his
from
life.
Satchel. And he makes these cool cigar box guitars. They look like that. They're way
Nice.
cool.
Very custom. Very custom.
Yeah, his links are down below. Hit him up. Yeah. All right. So we got now. Let me mention this for those of you who like Van Halen. Any Van Halen fans in the house? We do a show here on Wednesday where we talk about all things Van Halen called Halenville.
Look at those people.
And me and a cast of characters that looks like that show up. And this week on the show, we are going to welcome back our friend Simon Hosford to the show. We were supposed to have Simon on this past Wednesday. He couldn't join us, but he will be with us this Wednesday, December 7th.
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
Yes, he will.
And we will catch up with Haas and all things Van Halen. We'll play Nearly Impossible Van Halen trivia over there. We got a new contest running to the end of the year. On Wednesday is the first week of the Lost Year-End contest.
Love it.
Where we're going to take 4 winners from the month of December and bring them to a backstage bash here on December 30th, where there'll be fun and games and prizes and trivia and special guests. And I can't say, and they will also, all four of you will be invited back the next night on New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And as a panelist, you'll be invited to be on the stream for as long as you want to stay, if you want to come, on Fruitcake Tony's New Year's Rockin' Eve, December 31st, starting at 11 p.m. Eastern. We'll cover all 4 time zones, and that is New Year's Eve right here on the channel. But Wednesday, we are starting. That'll be the first winner of this new contest, and there'll be 4 of them. You'll be mailed a pass to get in this backstage bash, but there'll be food and drink and a lot of fun and trivia backstage at this private bash, and really cool prizes
Yep.
too,
Mm-hmm.
and a swag bag for all of you, and a special backstage surprise guest who I can't tell you at this point. Celeb. Yeah.
Hey, Holly's got to run. We love you, sweetheart.
See
Be
you,
well.
Holly.
Right there,
Nice
girl.
to see you. But that's Wednesday coming up here on the channel. Halenville Live with special guest Simon Hosford in the house. Yeah. So next Saturday, and what is the date for next Saturday? My goodness. Okay. Next Saturday here on Show Me Your Pick, we're going to be talking about showing guitar picks and other stuff. Mick Mars, Show Me Your Pick, number 127, next week.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. That's going to be a lot of fun show, guys. Lots of fun.
Yeah. And we'll show you some old guitar picks, and we'll show you some from the stadium tour too, from the first and last tour. A lot of Motley picks to show you, a lot to talk about next week, a lot happening this week. Sure ain't missing nothing. Greg, sir, it is always great to see you.
Yes, it
always.
is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tony and Charles. And I think Sandra's checked out, but yeah, thanks to her as well, and everyone in the chat. Yeah, I love doing this. So it's always a special night. I can't thank you enough for including me with your guitar pick group here and your family and your discussion and all that. So
yeah,
thank you so much.
It's
Thank you so
always a pleasure, Greg. Yeah, you come back anytime. It's always great to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Collins, Legend Picks right there.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, my honor. My pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, let's see where we are here. We're going to wind things down here. Greg and Charles, hang out backstage a moment. We're going to end things here. Everybody in the chat, thanks for watching. Always great to see you guys. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe here if you're not already. Thanks for that. And we've just reached 800 subs here on the channel. Thank
Congrats,
you so
Tony.
much.
Very cool, bro.
We love your support. Hats off to all you guys.
Love you guys. You guys be well.
All right. We're going to get gone. Greg, on behalf of Sandra, Charles Green, Brendan B. Squared, Greg, nice to see you, sir.
Thank you.
Look forward to next time.
Right there, you guys.
All right, we're out of here. Have a good weekend, everyone.